Good morning, coaches. How are you doing? It's Sanai here. Let me just wait a couple of seconds for this to load up. So I'm in full hoodie today. It has been snowing this morning in Leeds in the UK. So that's nice. It'll be nice to take the dog out in a bit. So today I want to address the topic of content creation. This is something that I get asked quite a lot. I'm a prolific content creator. I'm never stuck for things to say. And sometimes I have to actually kind of pause and think, no, I won't share that today because I've already done 2 or 3 live streams or, so many posts today. I'm going to kind of hold this back and share it tomorrow, even though I often feel like as soon as that message pops in my head, I have to share it. So I'm often compelled to share things. So I get asked a lot, how do I know what to talk about every day? Where does all this stuff come from? And a lot of clients will say to me, I just don't know what to say every day. Or the other issue is that I know what I want to say, but when it comes to actually sitting down and putting pen to paper, I can write two lines and then I'm stuck. I just can't seem to articulate my message. So I want to share with you kind of 5-6 points that will just help you to kind of unleash your creative flow and help you shift your perspective on your current position around creating content for social media to kind of share value, to market your business and your coaching. So the first thing, and this is kind of an obvious point for me to start at, would be when it comes to showing up, when it comes to creating content and knowing what to say every day, the really important thing is to have crystal clarity in who your ideal client is. Who is it you're talking to? Because that would provide you with an understanding of her pains and her frustrations. You will know how you can help her. You will know what she needs to hear every day. Knowing that you were once where she is now, you know how she feels. You can empathize with her situation. You must be able to remember what you would have loved to have heard at that time or what would have been value to you. So it's about really understanding, first of all, who is your ideal client? What is it they want to hear? What are they experiencing that you can add some value for them? So that's really important, the clarity piece. The other thing I want to say around clarity is it's really important to absolutely feel passionate about what you do, about your niche and your ideal client. Because that passion will be evident to your audience, and they will that will shift their state. So you want to be passionate about your ideal client and your niche, but also you want to be passionate about your ideal client. You want to love what you do and who you help, because you're going to be talking to them every single day. You're going to have to, let me get my words out. You're going to have to want to be compelled to share messaging with them, to be able to share the goodness that's in your heart, the message that's in your heart. And if you kind of feel a bit meh about your target audience and what you do, then that's not going to work. So it's not going to light that fire in your belly. So just having the clarity about something you're really passionate about and loving your audience, loving your ideal client, really, really important. The second kind of tip I have for you around unleashing your creativity is change your story. Change the story that you're telling yourself right now. If you're agreeing with this about, I'm stuck and I don't know what to say every day, change that story. Because every time you say, I'm stuck, I don't know what to say today, I don't know what my ideal client will want to hear today. Every time you're saying that, it's like an affirmation. You're giving yourself an embedded command to stay stuck. You're literally cutting off your creative flow. It's like you're severing the source of your inspiration. You are giving yourself an embedded command to keep all that creative content buried within you. So change your story. Start right now affirming to yourself that you have crystal clarity, that you know what you want to say every day, that you love creating content that resonates with your ideal client. I remember I used to affirm creativity flows through me and to me, and I always know what to say. When you start creating affirmations like that, that literally taps into your inner resourcefulness, taps into your creativity. You begin to see content creating opportunities in your everyday experiences. So, and you're allowing those ideas to percolate and then reveal themselves. So change your story would be my second kind of tip. So first thing is clarity. Second thing, change your story. The third thing is, when you're thinking about the content that you want to create, be current. Be current. So whatever niche you're in, think about sharing whatever's on your mind in the moment. Share your journey. Share what's going on a daily basis. So, for example, if you are a health and nutrition coach, hey Jen, good to see you, hon. If you're a health and nutrition coach, why not share, be relevant, and why not share how you're making your meal times fun, what you're doing today in terms of managing your own diet requirements, how to navigate your way through a tricky situation like a weekend away or a wedding. Be current, share content that shows that you are real, that you have these everyday experiences, and how you manage keep your disciplines day to day. For me, as a business coach, I will share things that help, that I've learned along the way. I will share what's going on for me. I will share my client issues. So if I have a client who comes to me with a problem, then I will talk about how I've helped that client or how we've processed through a solution, because if my client's experiencing that, then other people will be too. So just think about every single day the kind of sources of creativity that are available and open to you, and use your own day-to-day experience. Hiya, Rebecca. Good to see you, hon. So be relevant, keep it real. That's the third thing. And there's real value. I just want to add, there's real value in sharing that for your ideal client, because she will have light bulb moments as you're sharing your own experience. So Jen's saying, I totally agree. Weaving in your behind the scenes stories really makes it more interesting for the reader. Absolutely, Jen. And they'll be going through similar things, and it will prepare them. If your ideal client, as I always say this, need only be 1 or 2 steps behind you in their journey, then they will, when they reach these points, they'll remember you as being somebody who navigated it, and they'll think, oh, this is normal. This is something I can expect. And when we expect the different nuances of our journey, then we're more likely to be able to navigate them and prepare ourselves. Hi, Annetta. Lovely to see you, hon. So that's a really key thing. Be current and be real. The fourth thing, really important here, and this is what keeps a lot of people stuck when they think, I know what I want to say, I have this great idea, but I just, when it comes to sitting down and writing it, I just feel stuck. So the really important thing here is use your own language. A lot of people will think, right, this is what I want to say, and it flows in their thoughts. A lot of the time I get ideas when I'm driving, and I'm getting these great ideas and they're flowing. And, when it comes to sitting down, and then somebody might think, right, I need to write this. I need to sound, I don't know, more professional, or I need to sound more like an expert, or I need to sound kind of not like me. Don't do that, because what you end up doing is you create this dissonance between the real you and the message that you're putting out there, and your clients don't want that. Your clients want the real you. Oh, thank you, Jen. Jen said, I think you do that so well. You're so relatable. Thank you, honey. But it's about using your own language. So imagine just how you'd speak to your friend. So as you're creating your content, that's the key. It's imagining you're just speaking to a friend, you're staying relatable, Just turning my notes over. You're much more relaxed, and your authenticity will just shine through. And a classic example that I love to use this example because it just proves this point so well. I had a client who was coaching female executives who were kind of on that tipping point of burnout. And she was creating a lot of marketing posts and social media posts that weren't really hitting the mark. Nobody was really engaging, and she wasn't getting anyone kind of coming through and private messaging her, asking her about her services. So when I asked her, well, what did you experience? Because she was there, she's been there, she knows how this feels as a female executive. And she talked about how it felt like she'd lost her mojo. And she talked about, she'd get home and she'd be fractious with stress. And so she'd drink alcohol to soften the edges. And that kind of language, I lost my mojo. Everyone knows what that means to them. So they can instantly put themselves in that position, as opposed to executive dysfunction. Jen's going to jump in the shower and go to oh, you've just back from the gym. Well done, Jen. Very inspiring, honey. So, it's that executive dysfunction or lost my mojo. Which one of those are we more likely to be able to relate to for ourselves and see ourselves in that position? So use the language that your ideal client will relate to. One of the things that I like to say to people is use the language that you imagine your client will use in her search engine when she's seeking a solution. She's not going to type in executive dysfunction in this example. She's probably going to type in burnout. Use words like that. Fifth point is have a notepad by your bed and take a notepad in your bag wherever you go, especially because you'll be following step 2. You'll be affirming creativity flowing to me. You'll be affirming loving the content ideas that are coming to you. You're going to be affirming clarity. And as you're affirming that and you're opening up those channels internally of resourcefulness and creativity, you're going to get all these ideas popping up in your sleep. You're going to wake up and think, oh, I've got a great idea. Don't lose it. Capture it on paper. Because I know from my experience, the minute I get a great idea, especially in the morning, if I don't write that down, even 10 minutes later, I can't remember it. So have your notepad, capture all those ideas that are going to be, that are percolating, and then you can just, look over them, and that's all content. So Rebecca's saying the language thing is amazing. It really works. It does, doesn't it? You need to be able to put yourself into your ideal client's shoes and speak the same language. And Rebecca, voice records on your phone. That's a great idea. If you're out, I do that. If I'm out walking the dog, obviously it's going to be awkward to use a pen and paper. So just grab your phone and record your thoughts. And I'm a prolific reader. And there's so much good content and inspired ideas when you're, from reading. The sixth thing that I want to kind of point out as well, if you get stuck with your content, is don't worry about repetition. This is really important. This puts people off. And I think one of the hardest things actually is, of being in business for a long time, is coming up with content, coming up with new stuff. The point is, when you're kind of marketing yourself, it's not about creating new content all of the time. It's not about creating a new message all of the time, because actually repetition is so important for your ideal client and for your marketing message, because it's that repetition, that consistency that enables your client to see you from a position of trust and credibility. You're starting to kind of own a part of their brain, if you like, with that consistent message. They will remember you for what you do. They will know you for what you say. And a case in point this morning that was just absolute gold for this live stream was somebody messaged me And my reaction to this person was, oh my God, I haven't heard from you for ages. And this girl messaged me saying, sorry, it's been a while, probably about a year that we've last had any kind of contact. And she said, are you still helping people with clarity in their niche? Because I need some help nailing down my message. And I was like, this is gold, because I am so consistent. People remember me for what I do. So please let that be a message to you, that you don't have to worry about being repetitive or putting people off. People need that repetition. It has to be for them to build trust, and for them to know that you're not just some fly-by-night, here today, gone tomorrow, that you have this consistent message, consistent brand, and that you are here to stay. So Annette is saying, I so agree. My clients often comment that they like the consistency in my message. Yeah, it's a real trust forming thing. It really is. Okay, so we've got, let me just go through my notes. We've got clarity in your ideal client. Know who you're talking to. Step 2 is change your story. Stop affirming what you don't want, which is stuck and lack of content. Affirm creativity and clarity. Point 3 was be current, talk about and share your journey. Point 4 was use your own language. Don't try and kind of be somebody you're not, just be authentic. Point 5 was have a notepad by your bedside or out with you, or capture it, as Rebecca says, on your phone. Point 6, don't worry about repetition. And then this final point is kind of, if you're not creating content, if you're not showing up, and yet you have this message in your heart, it might have nothing to do with a lack of clarity. It might have nothing to do with not using the right language. What it might have something to do with, if you're not showing up, is that you're placing your focus on the wrong things, and it's a form of self-sabotage. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes when we show up, we may not get any engagement. You know, for whatever reason, you might get somebody hop on and hop off your live stream, or you might create a post that nobody likes or comments, and we get so hung up, don't we, on that external validation. But if you're focusing on nobody has commented, nobody's watching, nobody's seeing my stuff, what is that going to do for your state? What is that going to do for your levels of confidence and your ability to continue to push through consistently and persistently? Because if you're thinking nobody's seeing me, nobody's watching, the next thought process is going to sound like, so what's the point? And what's that going to do for your energy? What's that going to do for your ability to just continue showing up in full energy? It's going to do jack shit, right? It's going to do nothing for you. So this last point is shift your focus. Don't worry about the lack of seeming engagement. The point is that you focus on the one person that needs to hear your message today. That's all. You just need to focus on that one person, and they're not likely to like or comment because they're dealing with their own stuff. So show up for that person anyway. Come from a place of giving. Come from a place of giving value no matter what. Because when you come from that place, that authentic place, that's the energy that gathers momentum. Rather than, creating this post, what can I get out of it? The only reason I'm creating this post is because I want to get paying clients. Because if you're coming from that place, the minute you get, a day or two of no external validation, it's going to lead to that negative spiral of kind of stinking thinking. So Yvonne, hey Yvonne! Yvonne says, yes, that one person, focus on them. They need to hear you. And don't worry, don't get hung up on the fact that they're not responding. They are watching you. They are seeing you. And Yvonne will grin here because I get people messaging me all the time that I've never even heard of saying, I've been watching you for 6 months. Thank you so much. And they'll reach out and ask about my coaching. So it's just that consistent activity, the persistence to push through, maintain your good state, look after yourself, and come from a place of giving value all of the time. So I hope this helps, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what are your challenges with creating content? What's the biggest challenge for you at the moment? And let's jam it out. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Good to see you, Yvonne. Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, Annetta. Thanks, Jen. And I will speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.